Hello, good morning. Through this video presentation, today we will see what is leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is the third component of directing. As in starting, we learned various components of directing as number one, supervision, number two, motivation, number three, leadership, and number four, communication. So here you see we are discussing, we are going to discuss leadership, that is the third basic components of directing. Now, what is leadership? Leadership is the ability to influence others' behavior. Why do you want to influence other behavior? This is a question. Answer is so that the desired performance can be obtained from workers. Their behavior has to be influenced. Their behavior has to be shaped as per a desirable manner. So, leader is that who has this ability to influence that behavior so that the improved behavior can be utilized for the sake of business, for the sake of organization. So, leadership can be defined as a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective. Leadership is an important part of directing function of management, as we have just seen here. A leader should influence and guide the efforts of the subordinates and help them in attainment of organizational goals. Leadership style is the manner and approach of providing direction, implementing plans, and motivating people. Great leaders can motivate others to perform, create, and innovate. Now, after discussing this brief meaning of leadership, we should see what are the features of leadership so that we may have better idea about the word leadership. So, we will see features. Features of leadership. So, number first is personal quality. Personal quality. Leadership is a personal quality of a person. A person who is leader has some traits of leadership from beginning. Normally, leadership traits cannot be inculcated from outside. This is absolutely personal. Number two, followers. Followers. If there is no follower, there can be no leadership. So, it is very necessary that to be leader, there should be some followers. Here we are talking about a leader, not a political leader. Political leader is also a leader, but when you study leadership, you throw out this idea that we are discussing only political leader. Normally, when we discuss leader, an image of a leader who is wearing kurta pajama, dhoti, and wearing a cap immerse in our mind. But no, here we are understanding leadership in broader way. Narayan Murthy is a leader. Mukesh Ambani may be leader. Your school principal may be leader. Your manager may be leader or may not be leader. He may be merely a manager. So we will discuss various features of leader so that you may really understand who is leader, about whom we are talking about. Number 3, organizational goals. Leadership is exercise for the attainment of organizational goals. If you don't have any goal and somebody is exercising his influence over other, it cannot be termed as leadership. To call leadership, if you are attempting your influence about reshaping others' behavior, there should be organizational goals also. If you are shaping the personality of your subordinate, having a view in your mind that you have to reach a particular target, particular objective, only then it will be termed as leadership. Next point is group process. Group process. It involves two or more people interacting with each other. Leadership is not an individual process, it always happens in a group. Teacher may be a leader, he interacts with the class is a group. A friend may be a leader, suppose he is influencing the behavior of 2 3 other friends. So it becomes a group process. Number 5, never ending process. Never ending process. Leadership never comes to an end. It is a never ending process. It is continuously taking place in the organization. The workers, the subordinates need the guidance from leader time to time. So it never happens that once a leader has guided, his role is over. No. It is a never ending process. It goes on forever. Next point you can say situation based. Situation based. Leadership is situation based. A particular leadership style may work in one situation, but the same may not work in different situations. Normally, a teacher can be very participative with the class, but sometimes, suppose all of a sudden he has to meet with a challenge, then he may change his style. So, leadership is situation based, right? Next point, dynamic process. Dynamic process. It keeps on changing depend upon situations or conditions. Leadership is not stereotyped that once what you have fixed is fixed. No. Leadership has to take a change in its styles as per the situation because leader has to achieve the targets. He has to help the subordinates, the group members, we should say, to touch the target. So, if leader is not dynamic in his approach, he cannot help according to the new situations. One more point we can say, behavioral changes. Yes, leadership aims at bringing the changes in the behavior of people. For example, if worker is habitual of coming late to factory, his supervisor guides him, instructs him to come at the right time, but he does not change. Now, leadership is that who introduces the desirable behavioral changes. May be possible the supervisor in isolation convince that worker about the advantage of coming at the right time and disadvantage of coming late in the organization. And perhaps by getting influence from the words of supervisor, that worker improves. So behavioral changes is the requirement of leadership. Now we should see what are the differences between a leader and a manager. A manager may be leader or manager may not be leader. He may remain as a manager only. So this discussion is igniting the need of discussion over the difference between leader and manager. We will discuss only in brief the difference between leader and manager. First of all, you see scope. Scope. Leadership requires in-depth farsightedness. Farsightedness. In-depth farsightedness. In depth. Right? Manager, as compared to leader, does not need in-depth farsightedness as the leader requires. We don't mean to say that manager does not require foresightedness. Yes, he also requires, but when we compare manager with leader, then leader requires more farsightedness in depth. Okay. Focus. Focus of a leader is on inspiring people. Inspiring people. And focus of manager is managing activities. Leader is mainly concerned with how to inspire people, and manager just want to manage his activities, right? This is a very important difference between leader and manager. Formulation. Formulation. Leader formulates guidelines. Formulates guidelines. And manager formulates policies and procedures. Leader is more concerned about how to provide guidelines for a particular situation, but manager focuses upon framing policies and procedures to run the organization. Range. Leaders range. If you see the range, then leaders range is wider and managers range is narrower. Function of management. Functions of management. Leader mainly focus upon direction, and manager is concerned with planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Sometimes this point range becomes controversial. You may feel if manager is focusing upon all the five functions, then its range should be wider. Yes, from that angle, this is correct. But if you see only working style of organization, then the range of leader is wider than the manager. So it depends upon the angle from which we are viewing the things. So these are some differences between leader and manager. Now, after understanding the leader and manager, we will understand what are the qualities of a good leader. But before going to the qualities of leader, I want to ask a question. What is the basic ingredients of leadership? Till now, what you have understood, you can answer me on that base. I want just a brief answer. What is the basic ingredient of leadership? basic ingredient of leadership, if you have understood, is motivation. Leader works to motivate group members, right? One more question is there. Do you need leader or manager for organization? You have just discussed the difference between leader and manager. So I want to ask a question. Do you need leader or manager for organization? What? If you think over the role of leader and role of manager, then you will come across the need of both. When you shape an organization, you need manager because manager is involved in planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling all the five functions of management. So manager are required. But when you talk about the style of working and interacting with people, then we need leader because leader is very much concerned with what behavioral changes are required in the personality of subordinate. So it is very good thing if a manager is a combination of both managership as well as leadership. If he is concerned with only managing activities, he cannot influence the subordinates and he cannot be liked in long term. He cannot leave everlasting effect on subordinates. Subordinate will always feel that he is our boss, that's why we have to follow him. By heart, they will not listen, right? So, manager needs to be the combination of manager and leader both. This is a very good combination, manager plus leader. So, we can answer कि we require both as per the need. Now, one more question I want to ask. What is the final result of leadership? What is the final result of leadership? It means what is the outcome of leader's role? So, whatever leader is doing, he is doing for attaining an objective. Whatever changes he wants to bring to the personality of subordinate, that is also guided by the objective. So we can say final result of leadership is attainment of objectives. Attainment of objectives, right? Now, after this recapitulating questions, we want to discuss what are the different qualities of a good leader. Qualities of a good leader? Leader possesses some qualities which makes him good leader. So, number one, we can say a good leader has an exemplary character. Exemplary character. It is very necessary for leader to present an exemplary character before others. A leader must be trustworthy and humble enough to lead others. If he is not trustworthy, then nobody will follow him. If he is smoking himself and he is stopping others from smoking, then everybody will laugh at him. So exemplary character needs to be presented from the side of leader. Next is a good leader must be passionate. A good leader must be passionate about his or her work or pace. If a leader is lazy or not committed, then he cannot present exemplary character as we have discussed in point number one. If leader is passionate, means he is committed, he thinks deeply about what to achieve. He thinks deeply about his or her work. Then the passion about the work will leave a good impression upon others and he will be turned to be a good leader. Next point, a good leader should be confident. Only confident people can instill confidence in others. If you want to give confidence to others, you should yourself be confident about what you are saying, what you are talking about, what you are working should be clear to you first of all. You should be confident. What are you saying? You should be confident. What are you doing? You should be confident. What are you thinking? If you are totally confident about your thinking, about your action, about your way of working, then certainly you will be able to instill confidence in whosoever is coming in your contact. Let's take an example of a teacher. If teacher is solving a question on board, but he becomes confused, he is not confident suppose, then the students will never take confidence. But if teacher is confidently solving question on board and confidently talking about the solution of the question to the class, then entire class will be benefited and entire class will feel confident. So it happens in every direction. If your manager knows what to do in a particular situation, then his subordinate can take proper guidelines from him or her, right? Sometimes it also happens if leader is not confident, he or she hesitate to talk with subordinate. He likes to avoid that situation. He likes that nobody should ask from him or her. So various things are there. So this point, confident, I think is the most important feature of leadership, which really makes a person leader. Other points, a good leader must be responsible. he must be responsible. Leader should show by his behavior, by his thinking, that he is responsible. He should not feel, or she should not feel, that he or she is a boss. He or she has just ordered to subordinates to work. He should or she should feel responsibility about the work. Only then the subordinates, the other group members, will become responsible. Next point, a good leader must be critical thinker. A good leader should be critical thinker. Leaders should be confident. Leaders should be able to think critically about a thing, particularly when a new things come. If a leader is not able to think critically, what might happen if this is happening? What may be the consequences if we are working like this? If this thing happens, then what will happen? This, that, this, that. This makes a critical thinker. So it is very necessary to be effective leader. One should be critical in thinking. If you are plain thinker means you can view only in a particular on a particular path only, like this. Then you cannot become effective leader. But if you are understanding the fluctuations of a particular ideology or particular situations, then it makes you critical. After these all fluctuations, you have to make a clear understanding. This is clear understanding. If you have that ability, then you are called as a critical thinker, right? Number next point is a good leader must be organized. A good leader should not be should not present himself or herself in haphazard manner. Everything which belongs to a leader should be organized. His way of working. If he is suppose keeping data in his computer, then should be organized so that the leader may recall his data at the time of need in no time. If he is not organized, then he will be confused. Right? So organized behavior is a very important aspect of a good personality. Next is leader should be flexible. Leader should not behave in a stereotype manner. He should be flexible according to the situation, according to the need of employee or group member. Flexibility makes his personality more influencing, right? A good leader must be tolerant. When you have to lead a group, you have to lead a variety of behaviors. Some will work as per your desire, some will not work as per your desires. So leader should not take the group members as for granted. He has to work upon them. So it's very necessary that leader should be tolerant. As a teacher, if not tolerant, then he can be irritating with the class all the time and he will not be able to leave a good impression upon the students. So, tolerance is a very basic ingredient of leadership. And a leader must be hardworking. Hardworking is not a substitute of anything. Hardworking cannot be substituted by anything. Hardworking person can win any situation. So leader should be hardworking, diligent, so that others group member may also take lesson to be hard worker. So in this way, in this video presentation we have discussed leadership, its meaning, its features, the difference between leader and manager, and qualities of a good leader. Now in the next presentation we will see what are the different styles of leader. Thank you very much.